My name is Nazanin Askari. Originally from Iran, I have a very political background. I've been working in feminism campaigns and political activists back in my country. I am now living in exile in Iceland, and I'm more than ready to take part in the city council in Reykjavik.
Why should we urge our parents to vote for your party?
I think your parents should vote for us because we have, so in the women's movement, we have the very emphasis on education and of course women's concerns, as you can say. But I think in a lot of cases, women are the center of the family, you want it or not, and then can be your mothers or older sisters and stuff, and then just focusing on their problems, their issues would help the family to grow and would help which is the foundation of the society, and then it helps the society to grow. And I think we're really good at emphasizing on the foundation of society, which is a family.
What is your plan to improve child welfare?
I think, we think in the women's movement, we think that there's a lot to be changed about child welfare, or let's say education focus. We can, I think there's a lot of budget that we can put for schools, and we have this idea of equal right schools, which there are these experts and
Children with another mother tongue have difficulties achieving good academic levels because of language difficulties and lack of support within the educational system. What is your plan to support them and their schools?
I think as a woman, I have the phobia of having a baby in Iceland because I don't have an Icelandic origin, and that would be really hard for me to raise a child when I don't know the language. I do know the language, I mean, it's not my mother tongue. And I think, look at the Polish lady. I mean, I have a lot of Polish friends that she doesn't really know the language well, and would be really hard for her to tell stories for her baby at night. So just having the education emphasis, and I think in our campaign, is really important in these cases. And I think I had something else regarding this. And then, yeah, I wanted to say I also have this experience because I work as a translator. I go to a lot of meetings for parents in my mother tongue, and then I see how different, I don't want to say difficult, for them it is to actually work with their children's problems in school because of the mother tongue thing, because of the language difference. And then in my personal idea, in my college, the foreign department worked really well. So we think that we can actually add foreign departments in all schools so that they can help the kids to have both language. So they have like bilingual, do we say, schools, or at least departments for, I mean, as I said, education is our focus, so we would definitely work on that. Okay. And I think international schools are also good ideas.
Many of us as teenagers live with their brothers and sisters within common and small rooms. Our parents cannot afford to pay the high prices charged on the rental market today. What is your plan to provide housing, and what is your vision to reduce the high rents?
We have housing problem in Iceland. And in the past 4 years, I'm really wondering what were politicians doing, because our party is new. What were they doing? Because since I came to Iceland 6 years ago, almost, everything is now more than twice more expensive. And that is not only housing, I think that is called inflation. And we have definitely plans to work on that. I think it goes to details, and I'm not going to talk about that right now.
As young people, we cannot afford to rent even a small flat, and at the same time, we have to work to cover our education and living expenses. So many students in this situation have to give up their studies because of difficulties making ends meet and finding time to study. What is your vision to solve our problem?
We don't have to work that hard to be able to school because we're living in a democratic country. That's a good question for politicians. What were they doing all this time? But then I think we need to have observation definitely on inflation because everything is getting more expensive. That is stupid that I had to quit school because house school in Iceland. I've studied in Iran and then college degree in Iceland and then house school in Iceland, but I had to stop because I had to pay my rent and I didn't even have my parent to pay for me, right? So I think housing problem is really an issue and we need to do it today, not tomorrow. We need to fix that.
What is your plan to secure equality between Icelanders and foreigners, for instance, to equal pay and equal opportunities?
Then again, I have the same experience. I've been working as a manager with half salary of my coworker at the same management job. I mean, I speak Icelandic fluently and I don't see any other difference than she's born in Iceland and I'm not. I mean, we're going to definitely work on that. I got some, foreigners are getting 24% less paid for the same jobs as Icelanders are working, which is totally not fair. Our campaign is totally about equality, and this equality goes to women, different genders, men, women, and transsexuals, and everything which is called a gender. I don't think if we can use the gender word as a discrimination between people. People are all equal. We need to work on we need to have serious punishments for the companies which are doing that, including my previous company.
Many foreign families find it difficult to understand the rules of society, their rights and responsibilities, and many of them have difficulties with integrating into society. Many feel isolated and left out. What is your plan to improve their living conditions and integration into society?
It goes back to the similar to the other question about education and families. We definitely need to have foreign departments in schools, and then you'll have these psychologists to help us with that issue. We need to get families involved in the society, which then again goes to the discriminations between Icelanders born in Iceland. And the people who are not born in Iceland. And I think we need to, what our campaign would do is just to put more events and budget into involving families, and it shouldn't be just a family member, it can be friends, and into multicultural projects, which in the human right meeting a few days ago, I think it was only me and another lady from another party that participated, and my personal question was, what are you doing in human rights office? Because we need to get people to work together, and where are these people that need to work together? We need to stop putting this filter of being an Icelander and not being an Icelander, because I do work as some other person works, Icelander or Arab or whatever, from any origin, and I do pay the same taxes, so I don't really get the difference between us in the workplace. And we need to put more projects to make people comfortable to talk about it.
What is your plan to improve healthcare and welfare of our grandparents and the elderly people?
Well, I'm not an expert in that case, but I am definitely sure that there should be some plans that I'm not aware of right now. What I choose to be is to be honest, and as I know about things, I would talk. If I don't know, I would just leave it for the other parts of our campaign and for future plans.